So what I wanted to do with this one is just dial it all the way back. It's like here.
Keep it
and
simple.
yeah, so we brought in alumni as well, where normally it would only be the current team members that are contributing to the site, current sponsors. This is no, we're going to bring back, everybody. We're going to bring back the alumni, and
It's fucking cool to see.
yeah. So like Croc was at the first one. He was at this one. JL had he was going to come, but then he had something else pop up. And Todd, was at both. Frey had a last minute thing. He would have been here too.
Steve Goggins was here.
Goggins, yeah, he was a lot of the original ones as well.
Yeah. So,
and these are people that I've known for a decade. Like I said, it was going from, a funeral to being with people that you've known for a decade. It's healing, I suppose. I don't know the word to describe it, but it's different than being around people you don't even know. And that was nice, but and it wasn't about content.
No.
We've done them before, and it was always about content. Now, we wanted pictures for the site and all that stuff, so we obviously were doing that.
Yeah, we weren't taking people out to film how to do deadlifts.
No,
it wasn't any of that shit.
No, I mean, COVID's fucked a lot of people up. They haven't seen people. They haven't been, socially that active. So that was my thing, is let's bring some people together that normally don't get a chance to see each other unless it's a meet, every few years or something that we're doing.
Yep.
Let's bring them all back and kind of like reintroduce them to each other and, and rekindle those relationships, right? Because I think that's needed.
That's the biggest part.
I just think it's needed everywhere for every reason, right? Because you bring in these, team members and people from all these different backgrounds, and it's, it's a good thing. There's nothing bad about it. And the only difference between this last one and the other ones was 70% of us weren't training, which is what I was actually looking for.
Yeah.
Right. So yes, you want people training and all that stuff, but we can do that, differently.
Yeah.
I wanted those relationships to be, I wanted to see them.
Oh,
from a selfish standpoint, I wanted to see them. Well, some of them I haven't seen for a long time.
Absolutely. And it's like you had said, you brought the alumni in, and those were the names that I learned about first from Elite FTS. So to walk into a room and it's Goggins, it's Croc, it's Brian Carroll, it's Wendler, it's Vincent, it's all these people that I, for the last 10 years, have read about and have seen videos. It was surreal. 3
generations of team members.
It was amazing. And to be able to have just walk up and shoot the shit with everybody, and regardless of background, regardless of what people believe, we were all in the same room for the same reason, because we're all team members.
Yes,
and that's the coolest part.
And the live, learn, pass on. It's in my DNA, right? It is who I am. That's why it's the vision of the company. It's not just a statement. It's who I am. It's what I do. It's why I live. So to see these people, these team members, that a lot of them were brought in as athletes. A lot of people forget that. They came in as athletes training for the WPO or training for whatever, World Powerlifting Championship or whatever it was at that time. To see them now, 10 years later, some 15 years later, when 2008, we're going back, 13 years, right? To see them now, 10, 13 years later, and they have their own crews. They're coaching, 10, 15, Joey had 35 people or something. So he's got a ton of people. Steve's got they're not coming out to peak for their meet, because that was the other part of a lot of this, is we tried to schedule them so it was the last heavy day before the biggest meet of the year. That way they could better prepare for the meet, because they're in a different environment, different monolith, different bar, so the specificity is perfect for what that was. So a lot of them were timed that way. So this wasn't that. This was, okay, look at this. These guys now are doing what basically Jim and I were doing for them when they came out. Now they're doing it for their people when they came out. And in some cases, the people they did it for were here doing it for. That's what I'm saying. There's three deep, so to see that from my perspective was very cool. Right? Because you can see article hits and you can see content being shared and traffic and all that, but it's a human level when you're seeing that, how much stress, and not even that, but why they were brought in the first place, with the potential to do exactly what they're doing, now, and to see that have grown, to what it is was humbling, I guess, and actually great to see, because the people who are now under them will be them,
right?
5 or 6 years. So it is actually showing what we are doing,
Absolutely.
And I like for you guys to see that and other team members to see that, because it doesn't hit you the same when you just see stats online. When you see it physically happening, then you get the perspective that I'm seeing, and that's what we're basically here for.
Absolutely. Yeah. And for me personally, it was my opportunity to, again, selfishly just meet all of these people for the first time in person, right? I've had conversations with a lot of people online or through DMs or whatever, or emails, but to be able to walk into a room and get under a bar with them and just kind of have there was no expectations. It was just like, we're here all for the same reason. We're all training. We're all doing something. We're all just standing around talking about training or talking about anything. It doesn't matter. But it was such a cool experience for me personally, I threw myself in some briefs and I was playing around with some deadlifts for the first time. Yeah. And I was getting advice from Goggins. I was getting advice from Dave Tate. I was getting advice from Joe Jordan. I was getting advice from Joey Smith. I was getting advice from all these people. I'm like, what the hell is going on, man? This is such a cool experience. And to be a part of that is absolutely, I'm going to treasure the memory of that for a very, very long time, because it was something that you can't get anywhere else, right? To have like you had said, the generations of coaches, of lifters, of experience all in the same room, and we all are flying the same flag, and we're all thinking and doing the same, pushing towards the same sort of goals, and to see that, I got to talk to a few of the athletes training under a few of the alumni members.
Yes.
And we're having the same conversations. It's like, oh, you're doing this meet? Oh, cool. I'm going to try this one. And it's just, we're making those connections now a generation deeper.
Yes.
Or two generations
deeper.
Right?
Yes.
And it's like, oh shit. This is something that you cannot force. This is something that you cannot just pull out of your ass and just create. This takes years and years and years of consistent effort, of really kindling relationships and building those relationships. And you walked in this room, and it was like a fucking family reunion. It really was. It was like everybody knew everybody, and everybody was helping everybody. Yeah. And anybody could ask any question to anybody in the room, and they would stop what they were doing and help that person.
That's the point. You can't, like you said, you can't force it. You can't monetize it. And that's why it's not going to be duplicated, because it starts with finding the people that care, and then kind of moving from there. And then, is a leader or whatever you want to fucking call it, you weed out the ones that are only about the monetization, because then that dilutes that. So that's the cool thing about it, because that's what got me into this shit. Is people wanting to help me that didn't have to necessarily help me, and not charging anything for it, and just doing it because it's the right thing to do, and then because they care. Now, I'm not saying that you can't make money, because right. That's been misunderstood for many years with the whole thing, but that's also probably the surreal part of it. Right, because I'm walking into people that I know care, and it's a different thing than walking into people that are only there for selfish reasons. They're all here for a bigger reason, to be a part of whatever this is.
Right.
That you can't really define. But I'm fortunate to be part of that, whatever it is. I can't define it,
Oh, absolutely.
You can't, I don't know what's, it's just really cool.
Yeah. And it's, like I'd said before, and I'm kind of restating what I've already said. It's that feeling of just like, this feels right. Like it wasn't usually with like big groups. You may be like, oh, I'm worried about this person and this person. All of that shit went out the window. Like as soon as everybody walked in, it just felt like everybody, like you had said, was doing it for the right reasons.